周六的早上，已经开始秋意凉凉了，外面已经是阴天下雨了。我们现在最近都 stay at home 嘛，所以说没有什么特别新鲜好玩的事情。但我现在每周末都会去一个叫 Broomfield的 Museum 做 volunteer， 所以说可以带大家去看一看这个 Broomfield 的 Museum， 去了解一下这个 Broomfield 的历史，然后跟大家一起去看看吧。我找一个 tour 吧，等会。那好，我们现在走起吧。这里呢，就是这个 Broomfield 的 Museum， 是不是还挺古老的？其实它之前不在这里，它在另外一个地方，然后它现在被迁过来了。从这里看的话，其实下面就是我们volunteer 一般休息的地方，是一个工作室。从上面2楼这边进去，才是就是 visitor 观客进来的地方。那2楼这个才是正门，看一下。Hello everyone, this is David. He is the manager at the Broomfield Museum. Welcome.
I'm delighted to be here today, and
Thank
boy,
you.
I tell you, this is such a lovely building we have here, and I'm excited to tell you all about what this building was used for in the past and how we use it today to provide excellent experiences for people here in our community.
Right, that's so exciting.
Excellent.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And look, the sign says, "Come in, we're open." It's perfect. All right, so here we are in this kind of baggage room. You can see up here these suitcases ready to go. So as the folks who are traveling on the railroads would stop here and either take a further journey up into Boulder or maybe El Dorado Springs, this would be a place where they could store their baggage before they got on the train.
Look at those baggage. Wow.
Beautiful stuff.
Beautiful
huh?
stuff. Old style, old fashion.
Yeah, look at this big trunk down at the bottom here.
Yeah.
That would be quite heavy to move, but
Wow.
you know what? If you're moving a lot of things, it'd be nice.
Do you know how many people can move this baggage?
It looks like it'd take 2 people to haul that.
2 people.
for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got a broom back over here, and this particular broom has this nice little chisel on top, so that in the winter time you could knock the ice off of the tracks, and kind of dual purpose, both for sweeping nice stout bristles down here, as well as a good chisel on top.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Absolutely. All right, so let's take a look in the station agent's office.
Okay.
Yeah, we come over here, and this is where the work of this particular building would take place. And as you can see, there are a lot of communication devices.
Right.
So we have our telegraph.
Yeah.
Over
Morse
here.
code.
Yeah, for Morse code, exactly. And of course, we also have our message forks. And this is kind of an interesting thing. You don't see these all the time. But what the station agent could do is could write a little note, tie it up, and put it on the string here, and then hold it out the window so that the conductor, the train conductor, could grab the note as they went by, and hopefully it wouldn't be tied so tight that they get stuck. They could just pull it right out and have their message right there. And then of course there's having a safe is important. You're transacting, a lot of money is coming in and out. People are buying tickets. If you look, there's a couple different railroads that went through Broomfield. One was the Denver Interurban, and then the other was the Colorado and Southern Railroad. So this blue one is the Denver Interurban Railroad.
Okay.
Right? So that's more of a passenger rail line. But then the Colorado and Southern Railroad was also passengers, just not electric like the Denver Interurban. But then it also took freight as well.
So different route have a different color.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then you look over here, you can see this is kind of the route for the Denver and Interurban.
Route.
The kite route. That's
Kite
exactly
route,
right. You can see it looks like a kite right there.
Yeah, it is.
Lovely. So starting in Denver, go up through Westminster, Stanley Lake. Here's Broomfield. There we are, right there.
Yeah, where we are here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this building, the depot, would have been right there at that junction. And then on up, and you could go to Boulder, or you could take this route and go down to El Dorado Springs.
Nice. Boulder was my school. CU Boulder is right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And this is another old-fashioned telephone.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So you've got your speaking microphone here, and then your listening right there.
Hello, Davey. How are you?
Hello, Christina. I am quite well.
Okay, let's move to the waiting room.
Head on through here. Oh, we should want to go here first?
Yeah, the waiting room.
So here, as people would come in, this would have been the door they'd come in. And originally, I don't think I mentioned this, but this building was not in this location. Yeah. It was actually over by US 36, where there's a couple of grain silos now standing out there.
Okay.
But as people would come in, benches like this would be a great place to wait for your train to come and pull up, and then you get on board. You can see there's more storage underneath for more suitcases.
You can see, look at this window. I don't know if my camera can see, these windows have waves. It's the original piece.
That's right. Yeah, that particular piece of glass is, you can tell it's an older style because of the waviness in the glass. Yeah. And again, you may not be able to see on this particular video, but when you come to the depot, and I hope you do, I hope you visit, when you come, you should make sure to take a look at that. It's a pretty nice feature.
So that is the tickets window, right?
Yeah, so the ticket window is right here. So as you would come in, this is where you would either get your ticket punched or you could buy a ticket as well, right here from the station agent, and do your transactions right here at the window.
Wow. Hello, Mr. Agent. Where are you? All right. And you talk about what's the name made for Broomfield, right?
Yeah, so this particular, this is called broomcorn. And broomcorn grows, you know, kind of a tall, looks a little bit like wheat when it grows up, or some sort of a barley or flax even. But what it's used for, it's nice and stiff bristles. You can take off of the top of this, and then you put it onto a broom. And then, of course, your broom you can use for sweeping. It's really important. And they grew this early in Broomfield's history in this area, and that's why most people think that Broomfield got the name Broomfield, because they grew the broomcorn here.
And we can see this is for
bees, so you know, bees, they don't like people messing around with their hives, right? But this smoker, you just you start a fire in the chamber here, and then you use the bellows to push out air, which then, if there's a fire in there, it becomes smoke, and that smoke kind of calms the bees down, right?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is so much for it. Let's go to the kitchen.
All right, here we are at the kitchen. We're excited to be here because kitchens mean food, and I love food.
Me too.
I think most people do, but I tell you, there's some interesting things you can see here. So, waffle iron, of course, very important.
Yeah.
And it's a nice piece there. You can put it right over top of the stove, the nice wood-burning stove here. And then you also have, of course, things like a toaster. Again, you don't see this style of toaster very much these days, but certainly would have been something that people would use at this time as well.
Let's see, this toast is really real.
Delicious.
Delicious, right.
Yeah. Yeah, so a cabinet like this is called a Hoosier.
Hoosier, okay.
Yeah, and so it's a great way to store food. So kind of like a pie safe would functions like that as well. But it also, you can keep your utensils and bowls and mixing items, jars, all that kind of thing in in something like this.
Right, and there's one more important for the refrigerator.
Oh yes, yes, the ice box. So
ice box.
With an ice box, what you're doing is you're putting the ice in the top and then keeping what you have cool below. And so of course, we know heat rises, and so this this kind of ingenious way of keeping food cold would have worked for folks. All right, so we can head over here, and this we have set up kind of like a living room. And again, this depot was a live-in depot for the station agent's family. So he and his family would live here, and there were 5 different station agents that lived in this depot with their family. So as we go upstairs, you'll see the rooms. There's a children's room, and then one that's more of kind of a master bedroom. But in this particular room, you can see the decorations are kind of traditional, what you might find in a parlor or in a family room kind of living room kind of space. And you know, entertainment, right? You have your little Victrola
soundbar
player, so some music there, and then also a pump organ over here that you're using your feet to pump. Again, a bellows technique to force the air through to get the sound.
Right.
Yeah.
Style camera. Yeah. Right, this is the camera.
So the camera's filming a camera right now. That's fun.
Let's go to upstairs.
All right. So this is a child's room, and you can see there's we have it set up with a crib and some toys, a little tea set, things that children would have played with and used years ago.
Yeah, and you see this monkey?
Yeah, it appears to be a handmade toy rather than something that you could purchase. And it looks like it was sewn by somebody lovingly for their child.
Right.
This room here is slightly larger, so the thought was that this would have been used for the station agent and his wife. And we have here a few things, a little kind of, I guess you would call it like a mannequin to keep your dress nice and straight and even on over here in the corner. Some different clothing items, as well as a very lovely, sewing machine.
Wow. So they sleep at the twin bed before. 2 people to sleep at the twin bed.
Right.
How did they fit the size?
It'd be tight. No indoor plumbing here, so instead you have a chamber pot.
Right? Chamber pot.
Yeah.
We do use this in China before.
Yeah. Well, why don't we head down and we'll finish up here. So this is a grave. This is Shep. He's buried here. He has a couple of headstones, and he was a dog that kind of was a stray and started hanging around the toll booth here in Broomfield, and he became kind of a mascot for the folks that worked there, and much beloved. You can see he lived about 14 years. There's a picture of old Shep right here on the gravestone. Dogs are always much loved, especially here in Colorado, and Shep is one of those famous dogs that really captured the hearts of people here in Broomfield.
Yeah, he's a lovely dog.
Yes. And then we also have a couple of things out here too. We have a beehive where hopefully we'll be harvesting honey in a couple months here.
Right, this is the real beehive, you can see.
Yeah.
I don't want to go close.
Don't want to get too close.
Yeah.
But if you come over on this side, you can see where they come in and out. And you know, last night it got a little bit colder, so you can see how they're kind of gathered up around the entrance there. If you come around this side here, you can see them all gathered there.
Alright, thank you so much, David, to give us the amazing tour in this depot.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Christina. We really appreciate you coming by today And I also want to encourage everybody to come over here. You know, history, we can always learn something from the past.
So true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this time in our society, I think it's even more important to really understand what's happened in the past so that we can move forward as a society even more. So thank you again, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Alright， 大家，我现在已经做完 volunteer 的 work 了。今天没有人来，因为外面在下雨嘛，阴天大家不愿意出门，都愿意待在家里，所以今天很轻松。但是录了这个 tour video 还是很有意义的。那我们下期视频再见吧，拜拜。